Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Jeff UK here, back with another video. And I kind of wanted to talk about free agency, the NBA free agency this year. We've had a crazy off season this year. I think about 20% of the league this year, or 65% of the league this year, were free agents, which is crazy to think about. And the two biggest acquisitions, in my opinion, was Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to the Clippers. The Clippers gave up a lot, but I think it was the right amount. They didn't trade the entire team for Paul George like the Lakers did for Anthony Davis, which I think for the Lakers is good in the short term, but in the long term I think it'll hurt them because LeBron's getting up there in age, and Boogie Cousins, even though no one knew he was going to join until just recently, but I think it's going to hurt them in the long term because Lakers tried this with Steve Nash and Dwight Howard when Kobe Bryant was still there. Yes, it looked good on paper, but they had their problems. They made the playoffs, but it only lasted 1 year. And in my opinion, after that year, that's when their bad luck started. They bit the bullet hard there. And I don't think they made the playoffs after that. I could be wrong but that's just what I know about that. But I think the Lakers kind of screwed themselves because say what you want about Lonzo Ball or Brandon Ingram, they're still growing. There's a lot of players in the league. There have been a lot of players in the league that are now pretty good players who people have written off. Victor Oladipo's one. He goes from Orlando, where he averages a lot of points, to the Thunder, and he's a fairly young player at the time. He's a good player, but when he turned up with Russell Westbrook, we didn't think he was very good. Because they were saying, oh, Russell Westbrook doesn't have enough help. But look what he did look what he's been doing with the Indiana Pacers, which is remarkable. There have been a lot of players that have not had a good start to their career, but end up having a great career. And I think for the Pelicans, that's exactly what's going to happen. If you notice that when the Lakers trade away pieces, they become better later, which is unfortunate. But sooner or later, LeBron's gonna get up there in age, and say what you want about him being 32 or 33, versus a guy who's 17 and 38. But you and I both know that 17 years on anybody is the same, and the mileage is the same. I mean, that's just the truth. Because of how physical LeBron has played through his entire career. Not saying it's a bad thing, but the amount of minutes that he's logged and the amount of mileage he has in his body, I think it's finally taking a toll. I know he works out all the time to stay in shape, but you know that no matter how much weight you lift or to stay in shape, sooner or later that's not gonna help you out. I mean, it will, but you can't avoid, that kind of stuff. And LeBron's been practically injury free, but and I'm knocking on wood. I don't want anyone to get injured, but that's just my 2 cents on LeBron. And for the Clippers, I think it's a better move. I think they got a better acquisition than Anthony Davis. I for one think that Anthony Davis, or the Pelicans team that Anthony Davis had around him, were pretty good. Julius Randle was a good acquisition this year. Jrue Holiday in the 76ers days, and on the Pelicans is a pretty good point guard. You know, they've got good pieces around Anthony Davis, in my opinion, and they could have easily made the playoffs this year. And because they didn't, now it's because Anthony Davis didn't play hardly at all this year. But I don't think his value. I don't think that his value is the same as Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard to me is the better player. You know, he's had more success already. He's got 2 championships. Yes, one came with the Spurs, but Tim Duncan and Ginobili and Tony Parker were past their primes, in my opinion. You know, they were still really good, but they were up there in age. And he goes to Toronto year 1, and he wins his 2nd championship. Think about that. The Toronto Raptors, who couldn't get past LeBron James, or past anyone, gets Kawhi Leonard year 1, takes him to a championship, wins his Finals MVP, 2nd Finals MVP. And I know what you say, but the Warriors were injured. I personally did not like how the Warriors played at all this year. At first, when they got DeMarcus Cousins, I was thinking, man, they're gonna win it. They're still gonna win it, you know, because they're the Warriors. They're a good team. But as the regular season went on, I didn't like how the team was playing. You know, the teams that they should beat. You know, that they should for sure beat, like teams like the Phoenix Suns and the Lakers, who have LeBron, but you know, Lakers had their problems this year. Or teams that the Warriors should have had no problem blowing that team out. They didn't. It was either a close game or it was a loss. And you know, you can tell a lot by a team's chances by how they're winning. I mean, you can win. You could go 82-0, or you could go undefeated in the season, like Florida State did, and say, oh, but we're undefeated. Yeah, but Florida State, the year that Jameis Winston lost to Oregon, but all of those games were close. You know, there were like time and time again, Jameis Winston had to fight his way back into the game and like win it in the last minutes. And when you go against a team like Oregon at that time, or when you go against a better team, they're not going to allow you to come back so often. And their lackadaisical effort in games early caught up with them, and that's why they got blown out, because they had played, because they didn't really have any blowouts that season. You know, they didn't really blow out anyone besides Duke. And Oregon that year had only had one close game versus Arizona. That was it. The other games were blowouts. You know. And so when you talk about Golden State winning it this year, I even before they went down with injury, because I didn't like how they played. You know, they blew out some teams, but a lot of those games, like the games where you should win, they didn't. You know, I could understand if you lose to like a good team, you know, close or a good team blows you out, because they're good teams. You know, sometimes that happens, but when you get blown out or lose a close game to the Suns or whatever, or you know, that's not good. That's not very good in my opinion. So Kawhi Leonard took his team to the finals, and took Toronto Raptors to the finals and won his MVP, second MVP. He goes to the Clippers and is joined by Paul George. And who do I think is now the favorite? I think it's the Clippers because if you watch Chris Broussard today, he said practically the points that he made in that video is what I've been saying. You know, they got killer defense. You know, Paul George was runner-up defensive player of the year. Kawhi Leonard is one of the best defenders in the league. Patrick Beverley is one of the is the best point guard defender in the league, or one of the scrappiest point guards in the league. Lou Williams is a killer off the bench. You know, that's something that not a lot of teams have. You know, Montrezl Harrell was also could have been most improved player as well. In a sixth man easily, and if you look at the Lakers, where's the defense coming from? Is it coming from McGee? Probably. Is it coming from LeBron? No, he hasn't shown that in a while. Anthony Davis? Yeah, but so where's it coming from? I mean, Lakers have people that can play defense. Yes, but does that stack? But will it be enough against the Clippers? In my opinion, no. Paul George arguably had his best season last year with the Thunder. You know, 28 points. He led the league in steals and defensive win shares, I think. And Kawhi Leonard, who can also who you can't stop. He's gonna play defense also. And they also got Zubac back. You know, the Clippers brought Zubac back. Who's an up-and-coming player. I personally think that the Lakers, they'll still make the playoffs, but I think the Clippers should be the favorite. Now, and people are speculating now what they should do with Russell Westbrook. I personally this has been my opinion for a couple years now. I think the Thunder should think about moving Russell Westbrook back to shooting guard. A lot of you guys don't know this, but when Russell Westbrook was drafted, he came out as a shooting guard. He was a shooting guard he played shooting guard in college, and they moved Russell Westbrook to point guard. And you know that there's a reason why he was playing shooting guard, because why he should be playing shooting guard versus point guard is because a lot of the decisions that he makes during the game, you know, could have been made by someone else. Yes, triple doubles are nice, but his style of play is more like a shooting guard versus a point guard. Steph Curry has his nights, but if you notice, Steph Curry passes the ball also. Steph Curry passes it early in the shot clock, and they're always moving. You know, always passing her ball. You know, Russell Westbrook. Well, this is what Russell Westbrook does. He oftentimes drives. He'll drive the ball, and then he'll kick. And he'll kick to the corner, and then they'll shoot. or it's not really any. They're not really setting up any plays, or it's just go 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 go. If the shot's not there, he passes it. And then when late in the game, where I think having a point guard that can make that decision is better point guard that can make that decision over Westbrook will be more valuable, is because that point guard will get it to the hot hand. Russell Westbrook, because he's a point guard, he thinks he's the best solution, which, in my opinion, is not always true. I mean, he has horrible numbers because he's gonna defer to himself more often than not. And I get it, because he's the best player on the Thunder, but you got other players around you. When Paul George is having a game, why should you take late possessions away from Paul George away from him? I think if Russell Westbrook in the Portland series would have leaned on Paul George more in those games, I think they would have won maybe one or two more games. So I think they should honestly move Russell Westbrook to shooting guard and get a point guard that can facilitate. They don't need like an all-star. They don't need like a point guard that's ball dominant. They need a point guard like maybe it takes Dennis Schroeder and insert him into the starting point guard role and moves Russell Westbrook to the shooting guard. That would work. That would work better in my opinion. And who do I think is the best team now? Oh, you did have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to the Brooklyn Nets. That's a good move also. Jimmy Butler, that's to the Heat. Utah also got better, but who do I think are the better teams in the West? I think it's the Clippers, and then it's the Lakers. And this is no order, but I think the Clippers are definitely better than the Lakers. You got Houston, you got Golden State. Now Golden State yes, they don't have Klay Thompson, but Golden State is still Golden State. They're liable. Steph Curry might have a killer year this year. Spurs always find a way to make the playoffs. The Utah Jazz got better. They got Mike Conley. Denver Nuggets just acquired Jeremy Grant, and Nuggets made the playoffs last year. So I think in Portland also made some good moves. So I think it's going to go Clippers, Lakers, Warriors, or no. I think it'll go Nuggets third. So Clippers first, Lakers second, Nuggets third, then maybe Utah fifth, Portland sixth, Spurs seventh, and then Warriors eighth. But you could move them up or down. Do I think the Rockets have a chance, but I don't think they've made enough moves this year to help them. They're kind of stuck now with Chris Paul still there. So I think they're gonna have to figure that out. But I don't think they got better. Now they're still gonna be good because they got James Harden. But I don't think that they made enough moves this offseason to make me think that they're going to be better than Denver. I don't think they're even going to be better than the Lakers. They're not going to be better than the Warriors. They're not going to be better than the Clippers. Obviously, I don't think they're even going to be better than the Portland Trail Blazers. And in the East, I think the Sixers still have a ways to go. I think this is the year that the Bucks break through finally. And don't sleep on the Raptors now. They may have lost Kawhi Leonard, but I like Nick Nurse. I think he did a good job with the Raptors. And so that's just my 2 cents. And then I think Brooklyn's going to be pretty good, but it's going to be more one-sided. You know, DeAndre Jordan's a good player, but I think they'll have to wait another year for Kevin Durant to get healthy, and then they'll be fine. But I think that the East is wide open again. It's definitely improving, but the West is going to be difficult. And you might not even see a 61 team this year, even in the East, because the league is so balanced now. And you got Miami now, who may make the playoffs. You got the Nets, who will make the playoffs. You got the Pistons, if they play their cards right. You know, you still got the Raptors, you still got the Pacers, who Victor Oladipo is going to come back. You're going to have the Sixers, I think I said that already. You're going to have the Bucks, you're going to have the Magic, I think, again. It's just going to be a good season. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts. Who do you think made the better moves? Who do you think made the better moves? And what do you think about my points? If you like the video, subscribe, leave a like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll be back with more later. And I am still planning on getting a new camera and doing some IRL basketball, but that's gonna have to wait for a little bit. But thank you for watching. See you guys later.